Hello dear kids, today in this video we are going to read chapter number 2, Nelson Mandela Long Walk to Freedom, from page number 21. In our previous two videos we have completed the reading of the chapter Nelson Mandela till page number 21. So please open your book on page number 21. And this last paragraph after this oral comprehension check on page number 21, the last paragraph of the page we have to start today. So here it says that in life every man has twin obligations, right? So dear students, when we talk about this word obligations, this obligations means what? The duties or the commitments, you can say. Okay, so please keep on writing the meanings on your book so that it will be easy for you. Okay, so obligations is what? It's a commitment or the duty. So here in this line he is saying that every human being, right, has some responsibility toward the family, to his parents, to his wife, as well as for the society also, right? He is saying here, in the life every man has twin obligations to his family, to his parents, to his wife and the children, and he has an obligation to his people, to his community and his country. So this part of this paragraph is quite important, and you will get the questions from this part also, that mention the twin obligations which Mandela told here in this chapter. Okay, and so this is what is the important thing? Obligations to his family, to his parents, to his wife, children, and then obligations to his people and his community and the country, right? Please turn on the next page, page number 22. Here the last line, in a civil and human society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclinations. So inclinations means what? Inclinations means the behavior. It is given here also, natural tendencies and the behavior. So same thing here, means natural tendencies and abilities. So here he says that generally under the normal circumstances a person can maintain the balance between two things, right? But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of these obligations, right? So it is impossible task actually, he is saying, in the circumstances like him, when whatever the circumstances he got in his country South Africa, so there it was quite difficult to balance between both of the obligation, both of the responsibilities or duties, you can say, right? So it was very tough actually. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished as isolated. So isolated means what? It's alone. Clear? So here it is what he is saying, that when a person of the color, means when there is a discrimination between blacks and whites, right? So when a person of color would come up for his society, he would be arrested and taken away from his family, right? So he is not actually satisfied in both of the conditions. Whether he is taking care of his family, then also he is not happy. If he is taking care of his country and countrymen and the society, then also he will be punished. So in South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. Now this twilight is what? Inevitable. First word you have to do this, inevitable. So inevitable is what? Inevitable is which is unavoidable, and twilight is what? Twilight is, and this word twilight is given here, that means half lighted or semi darkness, you can say, right? And secrecy also is one word here given to you, that is to keep something secret, right? And rebellion is what? When we do the rebel, when we just do something, when we resist something, that is called rebellion. So here in these lines he is saying that when a person of when we are taking up example of Negroes, right, because he was from that community. So when a person of Negro community, he would come up for his society. So he would be arrested and taken away from his family, right? So thus keeping them from fulfilling both of the responsibilities, that is very tough actually. In the beginning, actually, he is saying, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, and a father, and a husband. So here in this line he is saying, I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligation as a son, as a brother, as a father, and a husband. So here he is saying that he did not actually put his people over his family, but it was only later when he realized actually that in order to be there, in order to help the people, in order to help his community or his country, he was compromising his duties toward his own family. So let's see in the next paragraph what is written. I was not born with a hunger. This is also one important paragraph, so please make the stars here, okay? So as we have to do the question answers also. I was not born with hunger to be free. I was born free in every way that I could know, right? So free to run in a fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that ran through my village, free to roast mealies under the stars and ride the board backs of slow moving bulls. As long I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. So here in this paragraph actually, this is very important paragraph, as one question I will get, that how he spent his childhood and how he lived his childhood, right? So they will be asked about the 3 stages of his life. So the first stage is about when he was born, when he was child. So his childhood you have to explain in this. So he is saying here that I was not born free with hunger, right? That he did not have actually earlier plan to stand against the apartheid system, right? So he lived his childhood like any normal child in South Africa, and he had only to follow the rules which are set up by his fathers, which are set up by his father or mother or his family, right? So he has to just go, he has to lead a normal child's life there. So as soon as he grew up, as long as I obeyed my father and abided by customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws for man or God, right? So earlier he was born for this only. He did not realize in the beginning that he has to stand against the apartheid system and he has to do a lot of struggle for that, right? So that's why he is saying that in his earlier childhood or in his earlier life, he has to follow the customs and the rules and the regulations which was from his tribe only. But in the second paragraph, see, it was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. So that illusion is what? Illusion means that is actually not that thing which appeared something else, right? So it was not only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself, the transitory freedom of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased and go where I chose. Later, as a young man in Johnsonburg, I yearned for the basic and the honorable freedoms of achieving my potentials, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family, the freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. So here in this paragraph, what he is saying, that he had this urge, he just got actually, right, that as soon as he grew up, right, and he began to learn the facts that how the people of the color of how this community, how his Negro community, they are treated, right. So he decided to stand against with that. He decided to stand against that apartheid system, and he had this urge for freedom from inside, right. Now he is saying 2-3 lines that when I discovered the young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began of hunger. So at first as a student, right? So here you have to answer this question also, that when he grew as a student, when he just was a student, so that time he realized that he not only himself but his entire society that is in trouble, right? And having that feeling, actually he had to stay. He has to stay against, he had to fight against the apartheid system. So here he is saying that I pleased and go to, I chose later the young man in Johnsonburg. So he is saying that in the earlier line he is saying that he realized that no one is having the basic life, right, in his society. So when he went to Johnsonburg, right, so there they had to struggle for having peaceful marriage also, family and basic amenities which everyone has access to, where law and order exist, right? This is speaking in this, I yearned for that. So this is what yearn for means, have an intense feeling or longing for something, so that is known as yearned. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free, right? I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. That it is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. So we will read after this paragraph today, and here he is saying that when he went to Johnsonburg, there he realized all that. And here 2-3 words you have to underline and note down. What one is curtailed, that is given here also. So curtailed means what? To reduce, okay, to impose as a restrictions, as a restriction on someone, so that is curtailed, right? So this word. And here is saying that that why he is telling us the reason in this paragraph, that why he joined that ANC. ANC means what? African National Congress. So when he realized that it is not only whose basic rights were snatched away, or who is being tortured or who is being oppressed, but he realized that his entire community, his entire society, they are facing this practice of apartheid system. So he that time joined that African National Congress, and he had this fire inside him to get free his people from the injustice. That when I joined the African National Congress, and when the hunger of my own freedom became a greater hunger of the freedom of others. So that is what here in this lines he wants to say, that he had got this fire inside him to free his people from injustice. So dear students, we will read today up to here only. Please read your chapter once again, and try to collect the things which we have done, we have discussed, which will help us to get the answers of the questions which are given in your exercise 2, and some extra questions are also there which we have to discuss afterwards. Thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy.